So I want to introduce, and I'm sticking around to talk about the block of the month because obviously it has a little bit to do with me. But I want to introduce Chelsea O'Hare of Pink Door Fabrics. Sorry about that. Pink Door Fabrics. So I asked Chelsea to partner with me on our next Block of the Month program because Chelsea has an amazing handle as a very successful shop owner on how to structure Block of the Months. She's very seasoned at this. You do it incredibly well. I have paid for and participated under a pseudonym in several of them, as my mom has, but she never finishes hers, but that's her problem, not mine. But you do this so well. And so one of the great things about partnering with Chelsea on this Block of the Month is you're also getting a little insight into an incredibly well-structured Block of the Month program where we don't just leave it all up to you. One of the things that you do so well is your information graphics and your information design and your cutting instructions. Often other Block of the Months that people do, they will ask her to buy her cutting instructions for the Block of the Month because they're that good. So this is a lot about obviously making an insanely beautiful quilt, but it's also about providing a ton of infrastructure for the rollout of the Block of the Month and the structure of the Block of the Month and how to make it work for your shops. So this is Chelsea, a genius of Block of the Month programs, and my friend, talking about the Queen of Diamonds.
Thank you. Thanks for sticking around. I've never actually had to use a microphone before, so fingers crossed this goes well. Can you all hear me? Yes. Thanks. Excellent. So I'm Chelsea. I run Pink Door Fabrics with the help of Dina, Lisa, and Sandra, who unfortunately wasn't able to be here this weekend. We run lots of blocks of the month. And so here's the thing. You're all retailers. If you had a crystal ball to be able to know how much money you were going to make 12 months down the road, you'd be like, well, that's a good deal. That's a fantastic way to do this. That's what we're trying to structure your income for the next 12 months with a Block of the Month. Anything that you put Tula's name on is going to be insanely popular and sell really well. So I'm super grateful for her and Free Spirit for this opportunity. We've designed a hybrid EPP quilt. So it's a little bit of both. So if you say, well, but I only machine piece, you can do that. And, oh, I only English paper piece, there's some of that as well. Well, quite a bit as a matter of fact. But this quilt, so all of the center blocks here are English paper pieced. And then when you get to the sashing here, Dina's going to talk to you a little bit more about the final construction of that. We switch over to machine. So it's a great skill builder series for people who are new to English paper piecing or have never tried it or who are really into English paper piecing. We start out really slow and easy with the blocks, and they get a little bit more complex as time goes on. So we've really tried to make this a turnkey program for you where you bring this into your shop. They're all pre-packaged and ready to go from Free Spirit Fabrics. So you'll get the installments, 4 different shipments, and decide what works best for your shop. If you want to ship that out to consumers monthly and they pay you monthly, that's one way to do it. Another way, since you're going to be getting those 4 installments, would be to do that quarterly. So that's entirely up to you how you want to structure it. But it's a great way to predict future income, but also if you're not into the recurring charge business now in terms of blocks of the month, it's a great way to start with that because there's not as much overhead involved with this. It comes prepackaged, not as much cutting time. I will mention that there are 91 fabrics in this quilt because go big or go home. And so that would be really difficult to amass all of those different Tula fabrics. Several of them are now out of print, but are going to be brought back into production just as a part of the Block of the Month. So while the pattern, which I will mention is 55 pages long, don't let that dissuade you, we have done all the hard work for you and shown you each block has a 2-page, thank you, spread here of which template you're going to use, which fabric it is, how many to cut. So the same thing that we do for our personal blocks of the month in the shop, are now available to you in a 55-page pattern. So all of the information for how to make this exact quilt is going to be in that pattern. You do need also the paper pieces and acrylics. Thank you, my lovely assistant here. These are going to be sold individually. So they are sold outside of the block of the month. They're $69.99 retail each, available through paperpieces.com or through us. We're both offering wholesale and ship worldwide. So like I said, this is a great skill builder series. Tula dropped a little nugget from heaven this week, and she's going to be sewing along with us, which is amazing.
On my Tuesday videos, I'm going to be sewing along with the people who are making it. So I won't start doing that until it starts, because that's me sewing with the consumer. And we discussed this morning. There will be a second wave of purchasing that will happen when I start sewing with people on Tuesday, no matter how many times I talk about it before it launches, in order to give you enough time to get your pre-orders in. There's still gonna be people 6 months later when we start it going, I've never heard of this. I wanna do it. So I really do highly recommend getting a few extra block of the month than what you sell, because there will be a second wave of FOMO, fear of missing out, people who will want to start making it when I'm making it every month. In one of my Tuesday videos, I'm going to go over the blocks of that month, and then anything that I'm like, oh, watch out for this if you know, I don't know, because I haven't made it yet. So, but I'm going to have like my tips for that block, what I like about that block, or just whatever, my experience while making it. So there's going to be a constant 12-month cycle of me refocusing on this quilt. I just want to show you some of the templates. They're really cute.
Which is a huge benefit to you as retailers, to help you sell this and continue to sell this. So the cutoff date for this to order for shops is November 28th. As Tula so adeptly just told you, there's gonna be additional people because there's a 5-month, 6-month lag there between when the sales cutoff date happens and when we start. So I would advise you, not just for my own benefit, but for yours, to go ahead and order a little heavy for those. So this is a great opportunity to bring new people into your shop. English paper piecing is obviously near and dear to our hearts because of Tula. But it's something that's become really easy to take along. In this day and age, it's so busy, and so you can pick it up for 10 minutes, sew a few blocks or a few pieces together, and then set it back down. You don't have to be at your machine to do that. I will mention that we've allotted for a lot of fabric in this kit due to the fussy cutting, but there's certainly, we haven't done the math, so don't take my word for this, but there's plenty of fabric to make this a little bit larger if you so desired, and that way it could be become a queen size quilt or whatever you're wanting. Anything else that I'm missing? Oh, you should really, Tula showed these. This was the first time I'd seen these today, and I was like, oh, this is brilliant, because these blocks end up being, as you can see, fairly large. So perhaps as a shop you offer one of these lovely bags as part of your block of the month. Sign up with us, get a free bag as part of your block of the month. So it's going to be really fun to sew along together. I'm going to have Dina talk just really briefly, we don't want to keep you too long, about the final construction of this when we switch over to machine. So, that's you.
Hi everybody, I'm Dina. I took this quilt from EPP into the machine, which was something new for me. I hadn't done it before, but what you see here is we've outlined every one of these in an inner sashing and kind of a bigger quilt sashing. One thing I want to mention is if you look at the quilt pretty closely, we've coordinated the McJaguar with the colors in the block, and in this kit it will allow you, we've estimated the yardage, that it will allow your consumer to do that as well, should they want to do that, if they want to copy it pretty directly. But what we found is bringing it from EPP, we have a 3/8 inch
acrylic
template, or seam allowance on the template, but everybody sews on a 1/4 inch. The pattern is written to accommodate for that. You do make a big jump when you go from pulling those papers out with EPP to taking it to the machine. Plenty of picture instructions, plenty of Tula figuring it out. When she takes it to the machine, plenty of video support on our end, how not to chop up your hand stitches that you just put in. Then we went ahead and we figured that your beginning sewers may need a little more help, so great opportunities to bring them into the shop for maybe a Friday night quilt to you will, classroom instruction, things like that. But also, when I thought about putting it together, we decided to call a bigger piece the shadow block, because we're creating the shadow here. They can do it at the time of finishing month 1, month 2, month 3, or they can, if they're real experienced and they're not scared of bias, they can come in and just construct it this way. So we've got a couple of options. It's written for the shadow block, so it's written for them to be kind of building this quilt as they finish the EPP if they want, or they can leave it to the end, all depending on how you feel that your consumer and your customers are comfortable. So you can provide support like that either way. I don't have very much more.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the machine EPP hybrid, because we discussed that a lot during this sort of creation. I'm a loud talker. The creation of the quilt. The most boring thing in the world to hand sew is a long, straight seam. And so when we were looking at this design, I asked about the sashing being, can that be machine pieced? Because I English paper piece every single day, and I have for almost 20 years. It is the only way I can sleep. So, and even I don't want to hand piece that sashing. It just sounds epically boring to hand piece, just these long straight lines, and then you don't even like get anything cool when you open it up except like space between blocks. So that's why we chose to do this hybrid. We also thought that it would help ease some people into English paper piecing, and for any of you who don't have like a heavy English paper piecing is a hand piecing method. I don't know if we covered that, but I talk about this in videos a lot because I do it a lot. And English paper piecing is the great unifier skill because there's only one thing to learn and you've mastered it. So for those who are afraid to get into English paper piecing, if you have customers that are like, I don't know if I can do it, that's the beauty of English paper piecing is it doesn't matter if you've machined, pieced, award-winning quilts for 25 years or you started a month ago, the one tool you know better than any other tool in your arsenal is your own hand. You're already a master of working with your own hands, unless you do everything with your feet, which is a valid life choice. But you know how your hands work. So the tool that you need for this is a tool you already know. So it's the great equalizer technique. I find that when I teach this, I have brand new English paper piecers and people have been sewing for 20 years and they almost all sew at the same level. So it's just this great technique where you only have to learn one thing. So the barrier for education for this technique is incredibly low. So I can get people good at it fast. So that's just one thing I wanted to say about why we chose to make this a hybrid technique, because I just think it'll be easy for people to machine sew the straightaways and slow down with the little bits.
Well, it also gets it done, because I would personally EPP them and put them in a bag and be like, see you next year, maybe.
Excellent. So one last thing, thanks for sticking around, that I wanted to mention is American Quilt Retailer, AQR. We have put together 400 packages of one of these blocks. In fact, it's this one. So it includes the paper pieces, the fabric, which was donated by Free Spirit Fabrics, thank you, and the templates and the direction sheet, the pattern sheet for putting this particular block together. So it'd be a great way to the first 400 people to their booth, which I don't know what their booth number is. American Quilt Retailer, AQR. They're going to have those tomorrow, so stop by their booth along with some other goodies. It's a great way you can make this block, display it in your shop, get people excited, and hopefully get them signed up for joining us for the Queen of Diamonds.
Did you mention that every single block is different?
I forgot to mention that. So there are 19, I believe, I won't count them for you, of these full blocks, and then these partial blocks are part of this, or a few of these are similar to those in the center, but completely different fabrics. So that's a fun way if people get bored with quilting, so it's a great way to keep them interested. Yeah?
So what's the monthly breakdown then? Because obviously there's more than 12 months worth of diamonds. So how does it break down per month?
There are probably 2 to 3 diamonds per month. Some of them are partials like these. We actually found that it was easier to make the good majority of this block and then trim it down later than to try to make partial blocks. So there will be on average 2 to 3 blocks per month. Any other questions about this? Yeah.
Really quick question. For the ones, those of us that are going to do monthly,
Sure.
can you help list and show you which papers, which templates you need each month?
The papers come from paper pieces. As a full set, so they'll need to buy the full set of papers, but they are all labeled. So we've made it really easy. That was one thing that I asked for paper pieces. Well, they're double bagged, but they have piece A, piece B, and then each of the templates are also labeled. So it's really easy for them to cross-coordinate back to their pattern.
Yeah, so if you need one piece E, you'd pull one out of this bag, one piece N out of this bag. So it's really the fabrics that are broken down over the months.
Yeah,
So if we wanted to offer schools and thread with our monthly,
sure.
can you give us suggestions for the month?
I just literally found out today that the neon threads were about 10 minutes ago coming out. So my recommendation would be to find out those colors from Aurifil and perhaps set that up to kind of coordinate with each month's fabrics.
Another really good idea, in my opinion, would be to like, as a precursor, because there is a big distance between, we're announcing it now and it starts in May, is like to make, can you pull my English paper piecing bag out of my backpack? Is to have like a starter class, like make a bag to hold your project, and then you can sell, like this is my really, really old one, but this holds enough English paper piecing for me to get through 7 hours on a plane and 5 nights in a hotel room. It's a significant amount. And so like have like a getting ready for the Queen of Diamonds, and you can make a little bag. You can maybe do like a starter pack that has your needles, your thread, like a thread kit, like maybe one of the plastic bags I already put away, like a block keeper bag, and have like sort of a pre-party, like a little sewing tailgate, Sewgate.
And so I might have missed this already. Sure. Are we getting the templates through paper pieces and then the block of the month through you, or is this all?
The block of the month is available direct to retailers from Free Spirit. So you'll get those prepackaged.
The fabrics, right? So the fabrics will come prepackaged from Free Spirit, and then the templates and papers from Paper Pieces.
The pattern comes with the fabric also.
Yes. So the pattern and fabric are Free Spirit, the templates and paper are Free
Yes.
Spirit.
So is there a way we can get like a shop kit to put some together before time?
I mean, a lot of these fabrics don't exist yet because they're Everglow. There's a lot in here that were printed just for this, so they're in production now. So you do it with them. I mean, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with them.
Sure. And the AQR will give you at least one of these blocks to get you started. So that's coming as well. Yeah.
I just have one question. I couldn't find it on the website. Is it going to come packaged monthly, like Nebula did, or is it coming like?
I think that's a Free Spirit question.
Yeah. Packaged monthly.
We're
For block one, you have 6 units in it. Right. Block one. Correct.
so if you're shipping it monthly, you'll be, here's your month one. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't on the packaging end of this game. Yeah.
Do you have poster size photographs?
So if you buy.
The question was, do we have a poster size version of this that you can put up in the shop?
If you haven't bought this yet, come to the booth. Oh, and McPhail has some of those right there. We have little posters we printed. You buy it here, you get the poster for your shop. We also have marketing assets that are on our website.
to mention
And they're also in our Canto, our digital asset management. It has like banner ads, newsletter copy, social media copy, images, logos, everything you need to market it. Or if you really pay attention, whatever we post, just repost it. You don't have to do anything. So if you haven't bought, come by and see us, booth 9 with our booth. 9:43. I don't know where I'm going. And,
The same goes for the videos that I put on Facebook and Instagram, all videos, not just pertaining to this. If you have the product I'm talking about in your shop, repost the video on your website. That's what it's for. I make those videos for you guys to communicate with your customers. That's all they're for. I've already made my money. So it's just for you guys. It's just to help get the customers into your shops and to help you promote the product that you've brought into your shop. So it's a total support tool. So every month when I make the video for making the blocks that month, repost it to your Facebook page, repost it to your website, repost it to your Instagram, wherever you're working on communicating with your customers, repost it. That's what it's for. It's for you. Like that content, you guys own that content, not me. That's what it's for. So feel free to use it.
share.
Yeah.
Simple. Yeah.
Any other questions?
All right, thanks. Bye.